Welcome back for another video on Wartide. Last time we talked about runes. I picked my top 5 hero and I talked about what kind of runes I use on them. So this time I figured let's go ahead and continue on um, and see what we got. So basically I'm still going to pick out the most common hero that you see in the arena, most common hero that people use, and decent hero. And this one, the first one on the list is Phoebe right here, also known as Shaman. Um, I like her because her ability, she does a lot of damage, and you see people run her on the arena quite often, and I use her quite often against bigger boss that are very tanky, that have a lot of HP, and and where physical damage would not do as much of a damage to them. So you want to use her because she does, for instance, uh, the dungeon dwellers. Those are physical attackers are very good on them. Talos also good on him. But anyway, um, one thing is when you click on the ability, it says at the bottom here it says scales with magical ability power and magical penetration. So what that means is you're not gonna get a big old boost because she's already a very powerful character by just looking at her abilities here. So she does a lot of damage already. Her look at her stat is 4.4k DPS plus 1.6, so it's not as high as Nyx, but she does definitely do decent damage, especially in the long run. She will do a lot of damage because of the Towering Inferno and the Phoenix Ring. So the runes I chose to put on her are basically magical ability power and magical penetration. I know they scale. It says here over the bottom, it says scales with them. So that's so you not it doesn't do you any good to put six runes for magical ability power. Basically, it'll give you a plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, 10% because they scale with them. It's gonna limit on what the maximum amount you can have. But I think for one set is fine. I took the set off, I put it back on, see if it changes any stats. It does. So it does have an effect on your heroes. When it says scale, it doesn't mean that it will basically you get absolutely no use out of those runes. You still can. So magical penetration. The reason I chose that for her is because she already does a lot of damage, and she's a magical attacker. So you want her to do as much damage to physical attackers, physical tankers, because they are weakened. They are not immune to those magical attacks. So you want to use that on her, at least in my opinion. That's what I think is best for her. Same with magical ability power, just basically allow her to do more damage in the over time. Um, okay, so let's go into the next hero. I'll try not to make this video as long as the last one. So we're gonna cut down some of the talks. Jocasta here, she is a regular hero, but I got her. She's very easy to get to 4 stars. Overall, she's a good beginner's tanker. She is not. As you get a higher level, and more heroes, you're probably gonna use her less and less because she doesn't have as much health as she should have for a tanker. Her health. The nice part is her ability allows her to heal herself for a little bit. When you look at her health, is base health is only 155k. That's kind of low. Um, and so I decided to go ahead and add the health rune to her, so that way it doesn't it allows her to stay in battle for a little bit longer, just enough that so the other hero can finish off what they need to do and come help her out. She is not gonna be your main attacker, so she does okay damage, but not that good of damage. She's mainly there to help tank. I don't use her that much. I used to use her a lot in the beginning, but now I kind of just put her to the side. I decided to go ahead and throw a physical defense on her instead of magical defense. One, because magical her when you click, it scales with magical defense, so that way. So I decided not to go with the magical defense runes. I instead use a physical defense because she usually, when I use her, she's a tanker, so she goes in front. And when she goes in front, she's usually up against some sort of physical attack defender as well. So somebody that does physical damage. So this way, I think it's more gives her more of an advantage. And if even if she goes up against a magical attackers, because she's a very a magical defender already, she has a stronger magical defense. It's okay too, you know. So and so basically she had extra health and she can defend herself a little bit better with some if she happened to go up against a either a magical attackers or a magical defend a physical defend physical attacker for God's sake. Okay, so let's jump on to the next hero that you sometimes see. I use her too as part of my on a boss or somebody that's immune to basically physical attacks. Um, what I mean by physical attack is basically physical basically any type of moves that can stun or does a big chunk of physical damage. Okay. For her, it's basically the same thing. I Same thing as Phoebe. She only scale is with magical ability power, and above that they say stackable. I'm not. Of course, you can stack them, but they can scale it down. So anyway. So of course I gave her just 2 room for magical ability power. I want her to do more magical attacks. Basically, be able to penetrate the enemy a little bit more with her magical attacks. Um, So that's the reason why I use that on her, and it's been pretty effective. She does a decent amount of damage, not as strong as the Phoebe or Nyx, but I do like her. I haven't really leveled her up that much. She's only 3 stars, so I would imagine when I get to 4 stars, she will do a lot more damage than she would now. She's kind of sitting on the side though at the moment. I do use her, but not too often. Um, the nice part about her is her ability. It does drain enemies' HP to the end of the game, so that's cool. Now, Nestor. Nestor is a common one that you see in the arena a lot. He is, and mainly because he's a free legendary hero. That's what we all get to start. Um, let's see. The only thing that about him they should restrict him is scale with physical ability power. We're not gonna be using any of those rooms for physical ability power, for at least in my opinion. I decided to go ahead and put basic attack speed on him. So basically, you get 30% extra attack speed. And Nestor is not going to be a tanky hero. When he starts the game, when you start the game, he's pretty tanky for his status. But as you realize when you play more and more and more, there are better tanky heroes out there. So you want to put Nestor behind some sort of tanky hero, or unless it goes up against somebody that you think he can kill pretty quick, even though they have a lot of HP. Um, as you can see here, his health is only 100k base and additional 70k extra. The reason why I like to put basic attack speed on him is because of his DPS. He does a lot of damage, but by just giving him the 10 the extra 30% attack speed, look at his DPS right now. At the begin, damage per second is 4.3k base. With those 10%, he gets additional 3.6k. So it's almost an additional, you know, it's 2 times the damage that he would normally deal. I mean, that's a lot of damage. So he is, to me, him and Nyx are pretty much on par for damage wise. He's a little bit better than Nyx in HP, but the downside is his ability is not as good as Nyx, in my opinion. His the only good ability that I like. He's useful in certain situations. He can stun enemies, so that's really good. I like that. Um, but other than that, the other thing I like about him is um his one of this his last skill right here, relentless stampede. Other than that, he's not my main hero, but I do use him. He's my secondary hero that I goes to when my main hero start falling out. Um, just because he does really high uh damage per second. Another type of rune that you can possibly use on him is the health, 25% health. That one will allow him to tank a little bit more, last a little bit longer. But I decided not to. I used to have that rune on, and it definitely helps. It allows him to stay alive a whole lot longer. But I decided to take it off because of his uh, uh, Fire Awakening. His Fire Awakening skill basically, once his health fall below 10% for the first time, he'll gain 80k health. So for that 80k health usually is enough to get me out of trouble. So that's why if it so that's why I basically took off the health extra health for him. Okay, so we're gonna talk about one, two, three, four. We already talked about four heroes. Yep. I'm gonna talk about one more, and we're gonna call it a video. Let's talk about him, Resonor. Resonor is a good hero for beginner. If you're using in combo with Atalanta and Mera, basically her for Ice Awakening, they're a pretty good combo. She will stay alive for a long time. But anyway, that's off topic. The runes I decided to go for him is basic attack speed. It allows him to attack quick. I'm missing one rune still. I do not have enough to get him that last 10%. So right now he's only at 20% attack speed. And that's fair. That's fine. I better use him anyway. But he is useful with those runes because he's not gonna be tanking nobody. Okay, so he's gonna be sitting in the back. So you don't need to put any health rune or anything like that on him. And he does really low damage. He's not an attacker, whether it's physical or magical attackers. He's there to basically heal. He's a support guy. So those attack doesn't really make much of a difference. Now, what makes it different because of his ability. His ability is allows him to heal, and every time he basically follow into attack, he heals. Blah blah blah. Okay, let me see what else. Following 3 attack, he grants everybody 100 physical defense for 4 seconds. So as you can see, and then of course his Ice Awakening is every basic attack now adds additional heals, basically more troops, or I mean your heroes. So basically, what you can see from those are his healing ability is also based on how fast he attack, how many attack he does. So by allowing him to attack a whole lot more with basic attack speed, it allows you to heal the hero a whole lot more. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I decided to go with him out. Eventually, once I get the other last piece of rune, I will go ahead and add it in, and maybe we can put him to use. He's my secondary healer that I go to when Atalanta dies, but overall, I don't really use him as much as I used to anymore. Now that I have Atalanta. But so yeah, looking forward to get one more of those runes and boost his attack speed up. I really attack. I like the attack speed runes because overall it does a whole lot more for your hero, especially the attacking heroes. Yeah, it boosts up their DPS dramatically. Unfortunately, it's very limited of how many I have. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna call that video here. This is about 15 minutes long already. So I guess stay tuned for the next video, and I will definitely talk more about the different type of rooms I use. Peace.